Hey, there we go. I think we got everything working. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. Yeah, I've got a different microphone. I don't have my normal gear here. How's it going? Thanks for tuning in. This feels weird because I can't hear the feedback. I can't hear myself talking like I normally can. So I've got everything set up over here. I've got things kind of set up. I'm coming to you from, it doesn't look like it, but it's Las Vegas. Um, and I'm here for the NOP Commerce event. You can see it right there. I spoke at the event yesterday here, and it was a lot of fun. Um, hey, Coding with Luce, good to see you. So, good morning to Mr. Regs, Bardaki, Welsh Ronaldo, Gareth Hubball is here. Let's see, Maker Blaker and Rambling Geek. Hello, hello. Thanks so much for joining me. So this is a little bit different, a little bit weird to be here. Hey, Brave Cobra, good to see you. I've scaled down my video a little bit here so that everything fits and that I don't completely nuke my network connection here. And I think we're doing okay. It looks so far like we're doing all right. Okay, so good afternoon from a wet, windy Ireland. Oh no. Oh, that sounds terrible. I'm so sorry. Can only watch 45 minutes today. Then let's get right to it. I am going to check out. I wanted to spend some time today looking at CoreWiki and working on a couple things here that surround kind of where we were going at the end of our show on Tuesday. We started talking about this concept of protected articles and what it means to get in and have special articles, something that's a little bit more than an article and is right, can do maybe a little bit more. I don't know, right? Some news next week about a stream you're looking to start. That's awesome, Coding with Luz. Best of luck to you. Let me know how we can help promote, share that, and share that for the rest of our viewers out there so they can participate in what you're doing. So let me go over. Let's see if this works. There we go. Look, I'm down here. I'm down here in the corner because I don't have my green screen with me. So this is a little bit different, a little bit weird. Oh my gosh, how's this work? I'm so small. Well, you don't really care about seeing me. You care about seeing the code. Um, all right. So let's start off. Let's get some music to code by playing in the background here. Of course, we have music to code by. Um, this is music that's been scientifically engineered, designed to get you in the flow, to get you thinking and building things, however, or working on things, whatever it is you might be doing, to get you focused and in the zone. It's scientifically engineered for that. And today I think I'm going to play. This is a song. It's not the latest, but it's called Judson. Let's see if we can get that playing. There we go. That might be just a smidge loud. There we go. Let me just take a look. So I've got 3 machines. I've got 3 machines running here on my desk in the hotel room. There we go. So I've got my production machine over here that has OBS, that has my Stream Deck, has all that stuff running, right? There's my Stream Deck. There it is. And then I've got my stage machine sitting here in front of me. I have the webcam on top of it, but that's connected over to this production machine over here. And then over here, I actually have a Macintosh. I have my MacBook Air open so I can watch the chat room and keep an eye on what's going on here. So I can flip back and forth between the 3, keep tabs on things, and have a good show with you. So after I'm done, I'll take a picture of what this looks like and share it. There is a Discord available here. There's a Discord server. If you go and you check out just below the panel here, the video, in the panels below on the Twitch channel, you'll see a link to the Discord. You can join there. You can talk about all kinds of stuff there, and you're welcome to promote. There you go. So Twitch Arcade is an overlay that the folks at Twitch said, this might be fun to try, where we can get arcade games started and running. It shouldn't be running right now. It's out there. I want to... That should be turned off. You shouldn't be interrupted with the Twitch Arcade. But that's a way for us to play games, perhaps when I step away. Yeah, there you go. It's quite annoying, huh? Sure, I can remove that. That's actually not too bad. Give me 1 second here, and I will turn that off. Deactivate. Yes, deactivate. Alright, if you refresh, you should see Twitch Arcade disappear. Alright. Let me move this. There we go. Fantastic. Alright. So let's take a look. I wanted to get back into this concept of protected articles and what it means. Janescu, you're working on a Blazor user interface for CoreWiki. That's really cool. Please, jump into Discord. Let us know where you are with that, because that sounds really awesome. I would really like to see where you land with that. Our friend Atif, I want to call this out, reached out to me over Twitter and asked regarding the delete user functionality that was brought up. Hey, can I work on that? Not a problem. Open an issue, and you can start working on that. Submit a pull request, and we'll talk about it and move forward from there. So Atif is going to work on the option to delete users. So I'm going to mark this as an enhancement because it's not necessarily a bug. It's just the feature isn't there. I am going to mark it as good first issue and help wanted because Atif is working on it. All right. So let's talk more about protected articles. So we started down this path of the homepage shouldn't be editable. The homepage is something that we shouldn't touch. It's something that we don't want folks to be able to we don't want folks to be able to sometimes comment on. We maybe don't want them to be able to change the topic, and we want to be able to route properly back to it. Hey, Svava, was the paranoia warranted? So, if you saw my Twitter yesterday, I mentioned that I was traveling, and usually I get really paranoid when I travel that I forget something. You know, what do I do? When I get to wherever it is, I forget a hairbrush, I forget a toothbrush, I've forgotten, you know, all kinds of things in the past. I've forgotten power cables, mice, and I end up getting to wherever, and okay, I gotta buy a mouse, gotta buy a power cable for this, and that's something that I had everything packed, ready to go yesterday, and I was paranoid. What did I forget? And I didn't forget anything. Deleting users is actually a tricky one. What to do with the article they created? And there's a GDPR concern there. Good comments there, Brave Cobra. Let's go back and this can be a tricky issue. What do we do with the articles they created? What else? Their comments, and abide by GDPR. Yeah, there's a couple things going on there that we need to figure out. Because if we have an article that's owned by someone, you don't want to just flat delete it. Delete the article, that is. And you don't want to mark the article as written by nobody. You'd like to say that article was written by somebody who's no longer in the application. Yeah, that's a good question. Is that a new follow, in Nakarma? Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. So is that your... So our friend Janesco here, what the heck? Come on now. Let's see, github.com/panes of glass trail. ASP.NET Blazor rendering with a F#. Ooh. Oh, that's pretty cool. F# running in the browser. That's pretty cool stuff. Started from it, I was able to do small changes. The work is started, but needs more. Okay. Dillbot 9000. All right. Thanks so much. Is it Dialbot? Dialbot 9000. Thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. We're continuing towards that Rainbow Beard Challenge. 4244. We got to get to 5,000 by December 1. So we are in the month of November. We are racing towards that deadline. Dylan. So I guess it is all right, I'll just call you Dylan. Can't wait for F# to be supported by .NET Native. Okay. So coming back to this, we need to figure out what we want to do with these. Hey, Atif, we were actually just talking about the delete user functionality. what do we do when that user is deleted? What do we do with their articles, their comments? That's tricky. So there's a couple things there. Well, no, you don't want to delete their articles, right? We may want to keep them around, especially if it's somebody who has edits on the homepage, and you want to keep their source that they committed as well. But you need to be able to, for GDPR, you need to be able to forget them. Well, you can't soft delete for GDPR. If somebody says delete me, forget me, right? And we do have this feature. Let me get into our code here. Rats. I'm not in PowerShell. Come on. There we go. Let me jump over to dev. Doesn't matter because we merged all the things. Git checkout dev. Yep, I know. Pull in all the latest things. What branches do I have here? Let's get rid of some of these. Let's get rid of that as well. All right. Yeah, I think we're in a good place. All in red. What's all in red? What do we do? All right. Let's see. I'm not used to this console over here. I need to move some things around. All right. We're still good. All right. And how's the video quality? I did step it down. It is at a lower quality. It is at a lower frame rate so that I can try and maintain a good bit rate broadcasting. Soft delete wouldn't be any good because of GDPR. Vegas and stuff, yes. Vegas. There's a... See? Las Vegas. There you go. One of those goofy magazines. Hey, look at all the shows that are in town. Looks great. And you're on mobile. Not bad at all. All right. Hey, Perry Digital Locks. Good to see you. Yeah, so let's think. So there's a little bit more discussion to be had here around exactly. Content's even better. Okay. Oh, my. What's with the kissing up there, huh? Huh? Hey, good morning, Rick. Thanks for stopping by. Good to see you. So we're talking briefly about this delete user feature that Atif brought up, and it's something we're actually already faced with this issue, right? Let me go into the project here. I'm just going to run it. What versions? Yeah, I know. Turkey. Fine. I guess I don't have the right version of the SDK here. Let's go grab the right version. Yeah, I want to download 403. Okay, sure, go get it. Right, and this is something that I think needs to be a little bit better experience. I don't know. It'd be nice to be able to have it download and make that SDK available to me as I'm working there on the command line instead of having to open a browser and go fetch it. Hey, good morning, Devin. It's it's very early morning here in Las Vegas. Installing .NET SDK on hotel Wi-Fi. I bought the premium Wi-Fi, so it's supposed to be the 25 MIPS up and down. wget, that's not a bad idea. That right, it'd be nice if I could just trigger that from that prompt. Right? I mean, if I'm here and I know, oh, you should have this version, well, we can find that version on the website. So go find it, download it, and then let me kick off installing it. Yeah, Chocolatey should allow us to do that, right? So Chocolatey, right? Is it chocolatey.org? There it is. So this is the package manager for Windows that you can use to download all kinds of things, applications. Is the .NET SDK here? .NET SDK, yeah, 21403. So I could have done Choco install, because I do have Chocolatey here, don't I? There it is. So I could have done that. Yeah. So, alright, so it should be available to me now. So I should be able to .NET restore. Yep, it's going to go through this. Hey, it's the first time I've done this. Blah, 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 blah. Never liked Chocolatey. Some installers doing weird stuff. There are some things there that Chocolatey kind of automates that I do feel weird about. But this, the SDK, where it's literally download and put it somewhere on disk for me and update a path, I'd like to see something like Chocolatey help me with. Feels like there should be a native Windows package manager. Amen. Rambling geek. Yeah. Amen. That's really loud. Holy crow. Yeah, I definitely think there's an option for something like that. Alright, so that should be there. Let's .NET run. Because we do have a GDPR, something like NuGet for Windows, WuGet. There was some discussion at one point about bringing package management into native Windows. And Chocolatey does a great job of that. Here we go. I thought we cleared up some of these. Here we go. Come on. Come on. All right. And let's go right to this one. All right. So here's my default homepage. It even has my ghost feature from Halloween. Ooh. All right. But if I do log in, right? Admin at, right? Is it, what do I, right? CoreWiki.com. And I forget what the default password is. And I don't have my Twitter configuration here. Let's see. Haven't we learned the lessons of what making anything native Windows component means? Well, there's a whole nother there's a whole nother problem there. Purge articles over a certain time period. Create an issue. Yeah. Absolutely. That sounds doable. Oh man, I haven't touched this version of Visual Studio in a while, have I? Come on. Come on. Give me all the things. And then change over to my dark theme preference. Hey, Hole John. Hello, hello. Good morning. What do you mean, Dad? Diplomatic of me? Diplomatic? So, Windows has had issues around the concepts of native things. To have an add-on set of features that'll allow you to step down and bring in applications should be a no-brainer. And quite frankly, if you just had a command line interface to the Windows Store, it would improve the Windows App Store because you could start to put like things that are actually command line usable, application usable that you could install from the command line, and it becomes a little bit more like an apt-get. But that's against what they're trying to accomplish with that. Is it admin at 123? Let's key that in there. So how's it going? Now I'm funny. Hold on, funny. I am not your father. Where did it go? Where is it? Right? Seed data is what I'm looking for. I want to go find that default user. And actually what I should do... Hang on. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? What I should do... Right? I should go down here and use our first start capabilities, our wizard, to log in. App settings. Right? Delete that and right, let it force me to log in. There we go. Admin username is me. Administrator email address is let's see, I'll make it something like this. Password. Okay, database, sure. Go. CoreWiki has Mediator, so now you have found Blazor bits for it. Awesome. Awesome. So I'm going to log in, and I should be able to use that new user I just created. If I key in my password right. No, of course I didn't key in my password right. Of course not. What was my password? No, I just keyed it in. All right. Come on now. Am I that bad? Did I forget my password after I just keyed it in? C# for its administrator email address, this, password, I'm going to make just password, because that's how complex I am. I should have saved that. I should have just told the browser to save it. Alright. So... Right. Well, that might be a bug. I think it's not saving my password. I don't think when we create the user, that admin user, it actually saves the password properly. Unless it's this. Yeah, I know it's not an email address. So I think that's not working, huh? So let me go back to that default admin user, right? Admin at corewiki.com, and then it was admin at 123. No, that's not working either. So I've got a couple things wrong here. That's going to be a problem. So let's try registering as a new user. Wow. Is that gonna let me in? There we go. But I'm not an admin, right? So works on your machine. New user should work. Yeah, new user does work. Um, but I don't think the create first user is working properly. You know? So that's going to be a problem. Let's see here. All right, all right. Hey, thanks for the promotion out there, Tom Van Scotter. Very cool. Thank you on Twitter. So, yeah, the new user doesn't feel like it's working. Register new user is working, but the first start user doesn't look like it's working properly. You know what I mean? Hmm. Nitpicking, but dark against a dark background is very difficult to read. Yes, you're right. Um, hey, Coated Beard. Um, if you'd like to submit a change to the on stream, it is yes. Um, if you'd like to submit a pull request to update the theme, you're welcome to. Um, I think we need. I want to go back and make sure that register new user is working because it doesn't feel like it is. Right, so there's my app settings. That's loaded properly. If I look at SQLite, those are some other samples that I was working on at one point. There you go, wiki identity. Where did it open? Tables, ASP.NET users, right? ASP.NET underscore users. What do we got? What's in this one? Yeah, Control E will execute. Oh, there's no underscore. So that's who I just created. And it doesn't have. Yeah, it doesn't have any other users. Right, I tried to create other users and it didn't create them. That's interesting. Right? I want to see this as a grid, not as... No. Yeah, show result in grid. That's better. I want to be able to see things lined up. So there's my password. Security stamp, concurrency stamp. But it didn't create any other users, right? I was in the first start. Default admin is gone. And it didn't create me. Yeah. Select star from ASP.NET roles. Why didn't that do anything? There it goes. Authors, editors, and administrators. So those are there. Let's see, ASP.NET user roles. Yeah. So it didn't create any users. It didn't assign any users to the role. in our application when we started, when first start happened. So that's a significant bug. And oh, you know what? I know why people aren't finding us today. I didn't put any tags on this again. Hang on. Let's put some tags on today's web development, educational, AMA. Twitch keeps taking the tags off of the stream. So default admin isn't being created any longer because we now have that first start project that goes and creates our user when we first log in. And that happens here in the index page. Right, so when you submit here, it should create the user, new admin user, with that admin password. And then it should add the user to administrators. So that's telling me that I don't think this is succeeding here. You know what I mean? Let's see if we can back up and take a look at what's happening here. See if we can fix this issue real quick, because that's definitely not right. What else is going on here? The chat room seems quiet today. Is it just Friday and people are chilling, taking it easy, chilling like a villain? Friday fun day. All right. So this is launched, right? Whatever. Oh, browser's gone. The whole thing crashed. Don't know what happened there. Let's take a look-see. Come on, get running, do the thing. Okay. Not chilling like a villain if you're a villain. You're not a villain or chilling. Oh. When you hear the Windows error sound and think your putty session disconnected. That's weird. Something... Alright, I'm in a preview version of Visual Studio and it's flat out shutting down when I try and debug. Right? I mean, let's try the other Visual Studio, because I've got two. Wait. You're kidding, right? That one. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on here. So all of my configuration settings should jump over here after this is done starting, and I will open cdev CoreWiki. You're kidding, right? Working on it. What are you working on? This should be a no-brainer. Open. Open, open, open. Give me all the performances. There we go. How's that music volume? We all right? Let's see, what do we got here? Very cool, okay. Crap. Yeah. So I haven't updated this. Groove volume is good. Thank you, Hugo. Hey, Ancient Coder, good afternoon. Ugh. Alright, let's change back to the other Visual Studio. This is gonna stink if I can't attach my debugger. So I haven't updated this machine in a while, so I know it's a little bit out of date, but it shouldn't be that out of date that nothing works here. Right? I mean, and gosh, I could even roll over to Visual Studio Code and debug from in there if these Visual Studio installs are corrupted for some reason. So, all right, try this again. And not just end. And then we wait for the build to run.
And then
we're hoping the debugger attaches.
And then
We'll get some Chinese food. How's that? Right? So build succeeded. Come on. Give me... All right. Orange bar. Good. What's it doing? What's it doing? Yeah. That looks okay. All right. That's that's a pain. I shouldn't do an update while I'm in the middle of hosting a stream. That would rot. Let's try and run Visual Studio Code here. Use that as my debugger. Yeah, right. Solution file. That's exactly what I want to be looking at. Go away. Shoo. Debug. Let's see if we can get into this now. Otherwise, this is going to be a pain in the neck. Wow, this mic really doesn't have any, it's picking up every breath here, isn't it? Wow. Even though I've got it way down here. Ugh, sorry about that. All right, come on, come on. And while that's getting running, I'm going to go back over to my index page. And I'm going to try and put that break right there and right here so we can see, hopefully, that it's attached and we're creating our user properly. So that's weird. I mean, okay, I'm not doing anything if the user isn't created properly, so shame on me, I guess, right? But this is one of those trials of being a developer is, oh, I found a bug that's keeping me from doing my normal thing. What I'd really like to be working on. Now I've got to go and take care of that before I can get back on track and actually work on the things that I want to do. So now I do have plans for a real get started, a real beginner series with some folks from the creative community, some folks local, a couple of streamer friends, and I'm going to be reaching out to those folks later today to try and get some dates on the calendar here so we can start really getting some beginner developers in here, have them join us and learn a little bit about writing web pages without really getting entrenched into Node or ASP.NET or some web framework. Let's start with basic HTML. All right, let's give this a shot again. Now it's working, right? So I'm going to make my administrator email address that, and I will make this something like this, my database, and if I submit, don't save. All right. So new admin user is, there's my email, right here. Let me hit the local over here. No, I want to expand this. Close these ones down. There we go. Username string. Oh, wait a sec. An email is string. I wonder if that's part of the issue. Let's step in here. Step in. Yeah, whatever. All right. Okay, so it did create the user. Okay. So Xamarin Workshop, I'm in discussion. Thanks for bringing that up, Ancient Coder. I'm in discussions, and my friend James Montemagno has been putting together some stuff for a Xamarin Workshop that we could do here on stream. And we're looking at Friday the. Let me get the calendar here in front of me. Let me get a calendar. Where's the calendar? Do the calendar thing. We are looking at Friday the 16th. We're looking at a week from today, and I need to lock that down with him and see if there's anybody else we need to get involved. If that is happening, then if we can confirm that, that will be what we'll be doing. So there's my password. Okay, that's fine. New admin user. So that should have created, and step in. Oh gosh. All right. I want to step out of this. Okay. Did that succeed? Okay. So it should have added that user. Right? Okay, so now it's going to restart. Now, don't I have a SQLite browser here? No. Okay. Let's take a look at... I don't have an extension to do this. Thacken5, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. No, I don't have a SQLite browser extension installed. Let's see if I can grab one real quick. Yep, install. So, missed the start of the stream, but was the connection string optional? Yes, yes it is. And Marukas Gem, thank you for following. I appreciate you joining us. All right. Now, if Twitch chat would not mess up, I'm glad you... Hey, Bardaki, it's all right. New GFX just arrived and I'm at work. Ah, come on. No problem. So, okay. Right. Okay, hey, Thacken. SQLite. Open database. Where's the database? What's it? What are you doing? All right, my identity database. I've confused Visual Studio Code. It's doing too much. .NET Core Debugger. Yeah, come on, come on. Why is it? Well, that's annoying. It decided to go. And right, SQL database. Yeah. Where is it? Down here. All right. So now if I look in users, okay, so there's my two users. So it did create the other one. And it did put that user, right? 1 Echo Bravo. 1 Echo Bravo. So you know what? My username is expecting, I think the user interface is expecting that to be a email address. And it's going to choke on that. Right, so this is running, and if I try to log in. You know what? It stopped it when I restarted. All right. So let's do this. Come over here. Where's Visual Studio gone? Yeah, I know. Full Visual Studio was crashing every time I would click the debug button, and that makes me feel bad. And I want to be able to debug. I want to be able to attach to things, and Visual Studio Code is doing that for me. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Oh my gosh. Switch into Visual Studio. We'll see. Oh. Are you kidding? Those of you that have been watching me for some time, you know, this error keeps coming back even though we haven't changed our code. It keeps coming back again and again and again. And here it is again. It's the Razor tag helpers and the design, and it's telling me that this is already loaded and it's not going to run properly. And that makes me feel even worse. Is it going to run properly in this console? Or am I just running into this? Yes, VS had issues. But here we are again. Are you kidding? Have I tried turning it off and back on again? So it's funny you should say that, because that's exactly what I did last time, and it fixed an issue with entity framework generating. Do I have a bug ticket about the error? If you're lucky, maybe somebody can find the solution. Morzel, I've actually reached out to the ASP.NET team directly, and they submitted a pull request to us to fix this issue. And it didn't fix the issue. And now I'm going to have to spend time trying to fix and figure out this. ASP.NET Core App 1.1, ASP.NET Core App, and it's not specified. Yeah, it is easy that way. I wish it was easier. But this is, right, it could not be loaded from the assembly, ASP.NET Core, blah, 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 blah. Assembly with the same name is already loaded. So this is the Razor Tasks Razor Generate. And I am in 21403. If I just run .NET, it's --info. Look at all the .NETs that I have available to me. It should be grabbing this one and using it, but it's not. It's looking at this. Is there an MS Builder .NET process in memory which might be stuck? Yeah, you've seen this part already. Thanks, Brave Cobra. Thanks a lot. Holy crow. Holy crow. You might be onto something. Did that Visual Studio crash take this out? Try it again. Like a file or handle lock. Maybe, but it should be starting up a different one side by side. Holy crow. Alright. So now I'm logged in as that user. I don't want to be logged in as that user. And if I try and log in as the other user ID, yeah. No, we'll allow that. But see, it's the username is not it. Right, it wants an email address here to key in. And the email, right, show table. Is, right, I've got the same email in here twice, so there's a problem. But it's the username really that it's trying to log in with there, which isn't an email address. You should have had an error when creating the user. I agree. I agree. So let me try going back to Visual Studio then. Now that we saw that it left that .NET process around, let's try that again. You want to have the same validation on that class. That's why validation should be part of the domain. Yes. But yes, and we shouldn't have been able to create that user a second time. That email address should be unique. So we have that constraint that we're not enforcing properly. This is becoming an interesting issue. Much more interesting than I initially expected. Here I initially thought, oh, it's just not saving the user properly. No, there's more going on here. Oh man, come on, show that in a grid. There it is. Right, so I've got the same username twice, and the username it's looking for to log in with is an email address. So you thought your first PR on CoreWiki would be simple. Well, your PR about deleting users, there's a little bit more to that. We just need to figure out what to do with the data. This is a problem. Not create the user by injecting SQL, but create a new user and saving that through the regular path, passing the domain and persistence layer. Do we have the user down here in the domain? Let's just double check that. No, we don't have user in the domain yet. So right now, to Brave Cobra's point, and it's a good point, our user objects and things are outside of our domain model. You have to configure identity options to require unique email equals true. Darn good point there. Darn good point indeed. Let's do this. Let me do this. Let's delete from ASP.NET users. So we can try this again. Okay. Let's go back to our configuration, right? So let's go after configuring that identity, which I believe is actually, yeah, it's outside of here. It's up in identity up here. Nope. Identity hosting startup. Here's where it is. Add identity options sign in. Require confirmed email. Yep, okay. We should make this a little bit more. Right, and we'll go to the end of this. Options. You're saying require unique email. I don't see that in here. And I definitely know that's a thing. Require unique email. Options. Options user. Ah, okay, yeah. There. Cool. Thanks, Turkan. Not. There we go. So now that should enforce that unique email. And then we should go back over to where we're actually creating. And instead of creating that new admin user with their username being their username, we should make their username so that it lines up. And this isn't correct yet, but right, we should make that email the same in both places. So let's go back to app settings JSON and let's force it to allow us to create a new user, a new admin user. Let's see how this goes now. We should be able to get in and have a correct admin user we can work with. While it might do the trick, it feels a bit weird. We're left at the mercy of the identity team there. You could say that about anything with identity. Right, we're using the identity features. Right, we can delegate to another provider. Right, we built those features so we could add Twitter as a provider if we'd like. It didn't work. That .NET Core process is still not working. .NET watch run. Let's let this go. That's weird. There's something wrong with my Visual Studio install there, and I don't want to reboot right now in the middle of a stream. But you're right, Brave Cubber. We should get to a point where we're doing identity with our same domain objects. It's a jinx in the hotel. Maybe. All right, so if I refresh that, all right, it routes me over here. My admin username doesn't matter, but if I make this Jeff@JeffreyFitz, and if I make my password, and this isn't doing that unique check. Right. Let's make sure I have the password right. Right? Yeah, okay. So, I was going to wait the identity part until .NET Core 2.2 as they changed a couple of things. Have a good one, Turrican. Thanks for stopping by. All right, so now let me try logging in. And I should be able to log in jeff@jeffreyfritz.com, and the password. You're kidding. Invalid log. What the heck is that? Right, it created my user properly, didn't it? No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Hey, Jez. Welcome. Why did it not create it properly this time? Yeah, it saved properly previously, but this time it didn't. I mean, I wish I could just, okay, view data. No, go away. Yeah, it didn't save it. Or is it getting wiped out on restart? I don't think it's getting. It's a legit question. I don't think it's getting wiped out. Oops, wrong folder. Joshua Jeff, thanks so much for following. I appreciate you joining us. No, that was created some time ago. So it's there. Right, the roles are there, okay. Right, so you'd think the users would be there, but it doesn't. Maybe password wasn't valid, but the validation error didn't show up. Well, actually, we don't we don't do anything to stop the process here if it doesn't succeed, so it doesn't actually add the user to a role. So it it may have failed, right? Um, right, so we probably should do something here. Right, and we want to make sure that model state includes something. Add model error, create user. There was an error creating the admin user, and I could include that error here, right? Errors. Yeah, let's just do that to start. Delete that. Refresh. Doesn't matter what I resend because it's gonna. It should. Huh? I'm offline. What? You're kidding. You're kidding. I can't. Astrozaf, thank you for the follow. Oh my gosh. Now that works. When I register users in ASP.NET Core, I have these two lines: new application user, username, email. Right. There we go. Doesn't matter what this is because it's going to run off of this. Something like that. Password. Okay. So it did error out. None yet, but you still have time. Impulse bought a PS4. All right, so there's an error creating. There is an error creating that user. So, and because we don't log it properly, we're not actually seeing what's happening here. Let's add an iLogger here. Right, I should receive a logger there, right? This dot logger equals logger. And let's create one of these. Logger.log error. Error creating user. And I'm not sure why, even though I added it to the model state, it's not appearing on screen, so we got to figure that out also. User result dot errors. I forgot the dollar in front. It's weird. Nuke the DB and recreate it just to be sure that it's not a foreign key constraint. You're kidding. And it's not a .NET process running in the background. It's not there now. Oh my gosh. But sure, let's delete this. Let it rebuild. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay, so it didn't scaffold the tables. Oh my gosh. Right? I mean, it's supposed to do that when we build this database, when we build this application. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Wow. Wow. I feel like we stepped back like 3 months in our application here. This is so configure services, try to parse that, configure database. So here's configure database. Oh, you know what? It doesn't have SQLite in there, so it doesn't know to build this. Now it should. Wait, it should because it's in default, so it should be down into this options use SQLite, services at DB context. So that should be launching, it should be populating that. Okay. Where is it? Add entity. We want this. Let's try and do the. It should build it at. It should build it at runtime. But I'm going to do a .NET EF database update, right? And it's going to prompt me on that context. So I want to tell it the context to use is CoreWiki identity context. So I can get it to build the database for me. Didn't see that one coming either. Yeah. So, okay. So that should have just built the database by hand. There it is. So now I should be able to .NET run. And it shouldn't blow up on me because now the database actually exists. There we go. Daily developer problems. Ain't it the truth? Ain't it the truth? All right. So that's running. And if I'll even do the resend here so I get everything submitted back again. Unhandled exception while unable to resolve service for iLogger. Ugh, you make me sad. Come on now. Fine, we will receive here. I thought we were supposed to be able to receive that, but that's fine. We'll do this equals logger factory create logger first start. All right. try this again. Daily developer problems. Absolutely. Ridiculous. But it works the second time. That is messed up. That is so messed up. Okay. So now I should have a logger. Anti-forgery header value is not present. Interesting. Alright, I don't care about that. This password is this. Database, go. Now, model state is valid. It didn't log anything. It should have logged an error. Right, we should have seen an error logged here, and nothing was output. Right, it dropped out there, so we should have seen something get logged that there was an error. When you get that error, check the Details tab in Task Manager as well. Processes. So I am in Processes. You're saying go over here to Details and see if .NET is out here. I mean, I do have a bunch of .NET hosts. Okay. Right. Even if that's not... Oh, ho, ho. I had stopped it because I had selected. Here we go. So it did have a list of these. Let's just say first dot description. First description. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on inside that. To be certain, gonna buy some new SSD drives. Cool. Good luck. All right, so here I'm looking at details, and I've still got 5 .NETs running. Weird. Now I know with the new compiler, it's supposed to try and reuse that C# compiler, but for some reason it's not flushing its references properly here. So I don't know what's going on with that. Right now I've got 7 .NETs running again. Alright, whatever. Yep, go ahead and resend. No, come on. Whatever. This. That. Nope, nope. And it's not showing me the error, right? But in here, passwords must have at least one non-alphanumeric character. Okay. That worked. All right, so I'm not getting the password error. So now if I try to log in, and let's here, this, there it is. Now I should be able to log in with that. So Jeff at jeffreyfritz.com. Now I'm in, and now I'm an admin. Okay. Wow. That was painful. Yep. Uh, so I added the logger to it, but I'm still not properly logging messages on that new page, that first page. And I set up require confirmed email and require unique email. I'm going to commit those changes. Made emails of users unique and started logging errors from the first start page. All right, let's push that. So our first start page doesn't have, it's not very friendly in reporting that password issue, right? We should be we should be raising that appropriately back to the user interface that, hey, you didn't define somebody's passwords properly. Hey, the Mart's live, right? Welcome. So we've found some issues in creating new users here because I'm in Las Vegas. I'm in a hotel room. I'm on a new machine, and I brought down a fresh copy of CoreWiki here, and I'm trying to use some of the features that we've built previously, and stuff's not working. There's things that aren't behaving properly here that we should do a little bit better job of triaging and making sure work properly. Um, and it feels bad. It feels really bad that some of this stuff is just it's clumsy, right? It's not outputting properly the messages that we'd like on screen. So what do you say we add some of these validation checks? I like where Brave Cobra was going, saying that we should turn the user object into something more akin to a domain object, just like we're doing with all of our other articles and objects inside of CoreWiki. And we should make this, make our security behave and abide by um, the same architecture that our domain objects do, right? Our domain objects that are interacting to build out our application. We took some shortcuts there, and it feels bad. It's right. It's not helpful, and it's clumsy, to be honest. Validation users should be displayed, absolutely. So I'm going to go back, and I want to use the exact same set of features that we have for when we create a user, right? Register. Right, there's some validation, right? We have these validation for fields here, and there's also a generic one that hangs out here. ASP validation summary, there it is. We should have those also on our first start page so that we can tell the folks that are trying to log in, oh, hey, here's your errors. So let me go down here to first start. Let me go to my index page. So there's my form. Yeah, I don't have any of my validation objects here so that I can raise those appropriately. So I'm going to put this side by side so that we can use that exact same feature here, right? Let's grab this div ASP validation summary and put this, right, that was sitting under an HR inside of the form. Yeah, let's put it right there. Or actually, you know what? Let's move this up and put it right there. And then we should have these ASP validation, right? Span ASP validation for, I'm going to copy one of those. Let's put it underneath the little notes here. And instead of input email, I'm going to make it, I'm going to grab that, which is kind of a misnomer, right? Because it's I'm not going to enforce. There's no validation on the username yet. All right, so there's for email. This should be admin password. That doesn't have validation on it, and this one's okay as well. All right. Now, when there's an error, this one. So adding a model error, I want to send that back, and I should be able to key it on, right? First start config admin password, and it should attach to that. Just the summary should suffice. You're right. Here, let me clear that out. And let me go over to the database. Let's delete that user so that I don't run into an issue recreating it. So I'm going to delete from ASP.NET users. Come on, delete. There we go. And let's give... I'm going to run into this. Out of your meeting now. Hey, Gareth. Malfunct, good morning. I'm in your time zone today, Malfunct. I'm in Las Vegas. Let's see here. This... Is it going to run? What's it doing? What's it doing? Maybe it'll attach. Maybe. I don't think it's going to. Tea time in the UK. Minutes away from heading to the airport to fly to Ohio. Nope. Alright. That's going to be painful. Putting a kettle on. Fantastic. I'm not drinking coffee. I'm not drinking tea. I'm drinking G Fuel. It's a dark and gray evening. Isn't that how Seattle evenings are? London evenings are? Alright. Try this again. Over here. See if we can get our good error messages. So I'll do something like that, something like this. I'm going to leave password blank just to get it to give me an error. There we go. Admin password field is required. Good. So now if I start keying in a password there, and I don't finish abiding by all the rules, there you go. All right. Cool. Too many nasties for your liking. Yeah, I don't blame you when you talk about things like Red Bull or Monster. They've eliminated all the sugar, and it has significantly less caffeine in it when we talk about G Fuel. So I feel secure about that. Nothing like freshly brewed coffee. Well, coffee is a wonderful thing, certainly. So if I key this in, I make it something that does have the non-alphanumeric. All right, I do properly get jumped through. Nerdy tech guy likes G Fuel. Fantastic. And that was the original error, was that it wasn't giving me that. It would be nice if as an admin it did log you in automatically, but I'm not going to be able to get that to happen because of how we do this. But I'm feeling much better now about that error management and properly showing that on screen. Right, so let's go back to here. And I was just assuming it was on admin password. If I don't include that, so it should just appear as an error up at the top. Let's delete our user. Okay, and let's flip this back and make sure that we do properly get that error message only at the top, and then I will commit these changes. Yeah, the problem I've been having with coffee recently is I was crashing significantly after drinking coffee. And you wouldn't see me crash here on stream, but an hour or two after, I would start to get drowsy and not feeling right about myself. I started that from Visual Studio. Bang. So just drink more coffee. No, no, no. Instant coffee? Ugh, ugh, ugh. Don't do that to yourself. Oh, not instant coffee. Don't do that. So I'm going to try to go to user admin and it's going to route me over here. I don't care what that is. Make this that thing. I'm going to key in an invalid password. The other thing is it's also, right, to Brave Cobra's point, it's also not doing the have I been pwned password check because that's not wired up to this page. Hurting waiting for your resupply. Oh no! If you had a bean to cup machine, you would use it. So I have one of those at home. A grind and brew, right? It's got a little grinder that's up in the top of the machine. It'll grind it up and put it down, and then the drip will work with it. And works great, but I really like my Keurig. I really like not having to wait, and the Keurig just brews, and I am happy. All right, so that's working now, and all of that is properly giving me validation errors now. So I am feeling much better about that. Let's now reporting, no, that's not the word now. Now reporting validation errors properly on the first start page. There's other validation we should do over there, but this for the user works properly now, and I feel a lot better about that. Sounds like a lot of work. I'd need a cup of coffee before I could start to safely operate that grind and brew. So Hugo, what's great about the one that I had, and mine was mine's from it's not Hamilton Beach. Shoot, I forget who makes it. But it had a timer on it also, so I could set a timer for the coffee to brew and to grind and brew before I woke up in the morning. So when I was driving to work a long time ago, I had the grind and brew set to wake up, start grinding and brewing first thing in the morning, and it would, because of my schedule, would typically do it while I was getting cleaned up and before I got downstairs and ready for coffee and breakfast. Check out Black Friday deals. That's a good point. Yeah, yeah. So, but it wasn't bad because you'd set everything up the night before. You filled the coffee machine with water, put the beans in, set up everything and the filters and all, and away you went. The problem that I always had was I'd come home from work, I'd be tired and put all my stuff down, and there's the coffee machine turned off, and it's got, the remains of a cup or two of coffee in the pot, and everything's cold and dirty, and I gotta clean it up now because I ran out the door to work. So the new bean to cup doesn't need to work at all. And that would involve you having money. Well, there's always that problem, and we all have it. All right, so let's come back around and talk about the original problem that we were talking about with Atif here, around deleting users, right? So if I run the application again, you know what? Let's start another. Let me go down in here just so I can have this running. .NET watch run. You had to build a new PC. Had a lot of work done to the car. Oh. You're looking for career advice. Who's this? Zoo Home? Where's that? Where's that? I'm looking for that message. And for some reason, Twitch is not scrolling my chat window over here. About 20 messages up just before my sounds like a lot of work. Yeah. The scroll bar. There. Can you guys give me some advice on a .NET career? There you go. Thanks, Devin. Well, what are you looking? The questions around getting involved in not just .NET but any software development is going to be, well, what do you want to do with that? What are you interested in? What makes what what's exciting that you want to get involved with, and that'll help to focus what it is that we want to give advice on. Do you want to do web development? Do you want to do application development? Do you want to do game development, mobile app development? And that'll help shape any kind of a response. But what I think you're going to see is um, there's a lot of different ways you can go with it. You have 8 years experience on .NET, first with ASP.NET Web Forms, 4 years with MVC. Now you want to work on Core with React. Fantastic. Okay. So what's the challenge? What's the concern there? It's not available at your place of work. That's not a feature that or a framework they want to use. All right. Let me log in here again, because I think we've already got this problem that we're trying to figure out. Because if I go to personal data, yeah, I do have the option to delete here. If I delete the account, that user's information is going to hang around. Hey, W7T2A, thanks so much for subscribing with your Twitch Prime account. We'll make a donation to Girl Develop It based on that. Thank you so much. But yeah, Zoo Home, you are way ahead of the curve. There's a lot you can do with all those things that you've learned, all those technologies that you've worked with. So thank you, W7. You'll of course get to use the .NET bot emote anywhere here on Twitch you'd like. Most jobs in my city require experience on ASP.NET Core. I don't have it. Then I would have to start a junior again. No. That's I disagree. If anybody's telling you that, they're mistaken. ASP.NET Core is still very new, 1 or 2 years. It's really been in production use for a lot of folks, and if they're saying you need more experience with that, they're going to have a real hard time finding any developers. Just watch my streams. Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Right.
But you do need some ways to figure out how to get some experience. What I would look at is getting involved with just some experience building applications that are, hobby projects. Put them out on GitHub, something you can show. Here's source code for something that I built that is XYZ, that you could point to and say, check that out. Here's something that's cool out there. Hugo makes a good point. You could get involved here, learn a little bit about what we're doing with CoreWiki, and you'll be even able to point to those pull requests and say, oh yeah, I helped build feature X on this. So yeah, but it's like recruiters asking for 4 to 5 years experience with Angular. Oh my gosh.
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
Yes. But visible .NET Core contributions to something that's in GitHub is, in my opinion, as a hiring manager, extremely valuable. So I think we already do have this problem that Brave Cobra was pointing out about, right? If I delete my user here, I'm going to run into issues with articles pointing to people that don't exist anymore, right? Because my articles that are sitting in the database, right? So let's open that database, wiki content, and if I look at the articles, because I read my wiki content just for the articles. So there's my one article. Come on, show the results in a grid. That's better. So the author name is unknown. And the author ID is, well, it's not just a byte array. It would be a GUID. So it wouldn't be able to find that. I, we would need a new domain class. Yes, if we were to do that, absolutely. I agree with Ancient Coder. Both public projects and personal projects. Do a little bit of personal projects to help grow your knowledge. Do some public ones so that you've got exposure. You've got some public code that you can point to when people say, well, show me what you've done. What projects have you worked on? Well, you can point and say, well, here, I've submitted pull requests into project X. I've helped collaborate on this. So if they're private, you probably want to have a way to show hiring managers if that's your majority of work. Sure. Should someone with 8 years of clearly relevant experience be expected to use their own personal time? No, I agree, Devin. This is an interesting scenario where somebody has significant relevant experience, and if you've got people saying, well, that's not in the new version of the technology, I think that's a hiring manager that doesn't understand the technology and has a whole nother problem. You've got hiring managers that are trying to place people and don't understand how things match up. And you'll see that with headhunters, right? Contract folks that are trying to hire people in. So our author ID is a byte array, so that'll do a join, but that author name is coded onto an article, right? So if I come over here and I create a new article, this is a new article. Lookma, new content, right? Create that, okay? And if I go back over here and look at the content, this is a new article. The author ID, Lookma, new content, and the author's name is sitting here. And actually, it's in. That's fine. Yeah. So what I'm running into, what I'm seeing here is, even if we do, right, if you do delete yourself, that author name is still going to appear with your content. So for GDPR reasons, we need to nuke that author name. Should be username. Yes, it should be username, but it is the user's username, but our username right now is the same as our email address. So once we've addressed that, this should become, in my case, C# Fritz or whatever, right? So there's another thing, right? Let's right. Need to convert usernames to true usernames, not email addresses. No, yeah, that's, hide the results, go away. This looks funny in the database, and we don't want to expose the email address of users who might not want to share their email address. No thanks. So that's definitely an issue that we need to address, and not an enhancement. It's a good first issue if somebody wants to take a look at that. When the author deletes their details, and then, so Ancient Coder, you're right. This is exactly...
Right.
Thank you. This is exactly what we're trying to figure out, right? This is that cardinality chase that we're doing here. If you created an article, right, and then we delete you, we should probably drop your username, your display name. Yeah. Right? We should drop this, right, and flip it to something else. That author ID is okay. It'll point to somebody who doesn't exist, right? It's just a hash, and I think we're okay to break that link. It's not a hash. I'm sorry. It's a GUID. And okay, so what if it doesn't? But yeah, if the author name is truly a display name, right? To need to use need let's say user display names, not email addresses. Yeah, I think that's better. But yeah, having a display name. Yeah. Mine. What do you mean mine? Mine? Mine?
Wow.
No. So we're going to need to address that also. But we could add a display name to the user object, right? And when I'm logged in over here, right, so I have, right, there's username, but when you go to log in, it wants an email address, and it's matching the email address against the username, right? So there's some logic there that we should probably fix also, right? Login, and right, it's saying input email, and then password, and then it takes that, right? So login model, right? So this input model, right? It's required, and it needs to be an email address. And then so you do the post, so it checks password sign in, input.email, input.password. So the password sign in is passing what it's saying is an email address into the username field. So to your point, Ancient Coder, can we just simply change this so that instead of that being an email address, it's not the email address, it's the username? And then, right, this should clean this up a little bit. Hey, Bardaki, the timing of Windows updates. Yeah, that's annoying. So if this is receiving... Yeah, I think we can change that. Which also means then on our register, right, you can, just an email and a password, we should also request a username, and then we're going to need to require the username to be unique, and then that comes back to also having a display name. Yeah, we are setting the username to the email address, right? And that's kind of the default behavior of identity. So when you register, right, you have an input model which has an email and a password. And we set the username to the email. So we've also got to make sure that that username is unique, right? Not just the email be unique. Require unique email. What other user options do we have here? Allowed username characters. That's it. So we do need to make sure the username is unique. Hey, Cam, are you doing cool stuff? So you'll have to update registration to allow a username and email to be entered. Yes. Hey, Nick's Mad Science. What up? The identity username is unique by default. Ah, you're right. Okay. So let's put this together then real quick. You've got a great point here, Ancient Coder. Let's see if we can just chug away and make this happen. So not just input email. Let's Right, let me go into input. Will it jump me there? Oh, it did. It did. Let's also add, let's add a prop for a string so that we receive a username. For those of, and I know we have some folks that just joined, we ran into an issue here where inside of our CoreWiki application, when you log in, when you register, you key in an email and a password. There's no username object to key into, right? And our username should be something like C# Fritz, right? And we should also have maybe a display name here. How long am I planning on streaming? I don't know. You know what? I don't have any commitments for at least another hour or two, so I could keep going here, and I want to sort through some of these issues that we're having around security, Gareth. So I'm gonna go for a little bit longer. So thanks for stopping in, Hugo. I don't arrive on time tomorrow to be able to stream tomorrow, but I might stream on Sunday. I think that stream on Sunday right into Noopcat stream worked really well. So what I'm trying to solve here is I have this username, and it's not properly behaving as a username, and it's passing our it's passing our information around funny here. So let's add, we're using that email address when we probably shouldn't be. So let's add username, and then let's also add display name. I like what Ancient Coder was saying about having a display name. So let's call this string display name. So we have those. Yeah, all right, let's put a display attribute with both of these. I mean, it feels weird, but it's username, display name, right? Can usernames have spaces? I don't think so. I think that's already covered. Options, user, and then there's allow username characters. Gets or sets the list of allowed characters. Defaults to, and that doesn't have space in that collection. Nope, no spaces, yeah. So I'm okay with that. I think we're safe with that. So register, we now have the ability to receive a username and a display name. So let's add those. Right, so I already duplicated this for email. So let's change this to username, username, username. Oops. Ah, thank you. And then let's add display name. Cool. Display name. There we go. And then I'm going to need to. Here we go. So username is not going to be input email, but input username. And my CoreWiki user now I need to extend to also have a display name. Right? Or hang on. Wait a tick. Let's do this. What properties do I have here? Do I have I have normalized username? No. I have username. I don't have like a display name here. So I think we do need to add a display name property to our user. Yeah, we're going to need to extend it. Look, I'm right about something.
Woo!
All right, so let's add display name. So I'm going to need to scaffold my database so that it adds that field into my user's object. Not terrible, but I'm going to need to do that. So now I'm also going to want to say display name equals input dot display name. So that'll create my user with those features when I register. Let's go back over to first start and let's add those features over there as well. Right, so I do have the admin username. I should put the admin display name as well, which is going to be, let's jump back through here, first start configuration. Yeah, go to it. There we go. Make that required, public string admin display name. Okay, so I have that. Oops. That's better. Do you keep track of past usernames the way you do previous names? No, we don't have that yet. That's, well, right now, we could default to just lock that down for right now. Right, you can't change your name. Administrator display name. Who are you? How should users see your name? Enter admin display name. And let's make this admin display name. Okay. So now when that gets submitted, admin user, so username equals not that, but now admin username, and display name equals this. First start config, admin display name, right? Now register had something else in there. Oh, with the can notify. I don't need that for our admin. Default it to false and let them turn it on later. So that should save and create the user in that first start registration. That should create that properly for us. But I still need to update my user profile page, and I'm also going to, I need to add that migration so that my my SQLite database builds properly. Or, right? .NET EF migrations add added user display name, and then this is, what's the name of that context? Right, isn't it? Yeah, CoreWiki identity context. This one. Let's let it add that so that it knows how to create that field. Come on, go, go, go. Just
Do it!
Wow, that was loud. CoreWiki doesn't match your migrations assembly. Do I have migrations for this, even in this assembly? No, I don't have it over here. Oh, you know what? Then let's just do, can I do a .NET? Well, this is my identity table. I mean, for right now, I can just nuke it and rebuild it. Right, .NET EF database update -c that. Change the startup project flag. Well, there's a whole. There we go. Did it create ASP.NET users properly? Let's see. There's add can notify. Not that one. Nope, it's not in there. Rats. Yeah, I do need to change projects then. Either change your target project or change your migrations assembly. Change your migrations assembly using DB context options builder. Options use SQL Server, migrations assembly this. By default, the migration's assembly, so it's different. So when I was inside here, I want to say, right, where was it? Use inside of this. So the other options that I want to have. So let's just say O dot migrations assembly equals, it's not CoreWiki, but it's going to be, hey, Quiltony. It's going to be CoreWiki Data Entity Framework is the name of the one we're in. How's it going, CoreWiki? CoreWiki. How's it going, Quiltony? That's what I want, right? Oh, it's not an equals. It is a method. So I need to do that. Semi. There we go. Now let's see. Let's see if we can get that to work. How's Vegas? Vegas has been very good to me over the past 24 hours that I've been here. Had a great dinner last night. Always very good food here in Las Vegas. Build failed. Oh no. Had some amazing Chinese last night and had a few drinks with some friends. Had a really good time. I was quite happy with how things went. So that built properly. Let's see if it'll actually create my migration. Okay. What? I changed it. Either change your migrations assembly. Change your migrations assembly using DB context options builder. I already did that. To the migrations project by using the package manager consoles or by executing it in the directory containing that project. So let me go up and over to corewiki.data and I'll do that. Let's see if we get that. So we had a great time last night. Oh crap. Okay, I had this exact same error the other day, and all I did was restart my console, and it worked for me. And that is the worst kind of problem solution. .NET EF migrations added display name to user -c CoreWiki identity context. Nope. Nope. And if I try and run it from the same project where the actual context is, it blows up because the migrations are in a different project. Yeah. Ooh. Oh man. Oh man, oh man. Let's take a look over here. Migrations. Application DB context model. Add author name to article. Article history. Slug history. The initial. Try to specify startup project. Let's do this. Let's throw help here and see the project to use and the startup project to use. Let's try doing a -p to force the project to corewiki.data. Unable to retrieve. If I do this, will it find it? Okay. So now am I going to be able to do .NET EF database update CoreWiki identity context? And is it going to update my database with my users and to add that field? Should work. That didn't. CoreWiki data. It's going to find that. Come on. You know you want to work. Do the thing. Ooh. Ooh. Added the display name. Okay. Okay. I'm feeling good here. That is a really, really interesting. Let me refresh. So here's my identity. This is where all my users are stored. There's my users table. And now it has a display name. I can't back that up. But learn something a little bit more about how to use that. So good catch. I've never used that project flag. But now that I've got things moving around between different projects, that makes perfect sense to me. Thank you so much. Is that Rusage and Atif? Thank you for the tip there. Points to you guys, to you folks. Thanks so much. Tony Rumble, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Getting us closer and closer to our 5,000 goal. So let's see here. So I've got those objects available. Display name will now set the author name on articles when you create them. That's where I'd like it to go. I haven't quite finished that wire up. That's where I'd like it to end up. Nerdy tech guy. So I have now a way for you to register and put that display name in, and it's keeping the username separate. I still need to update the login page so that the login, where it's receiving what it's calling email, is I want to receive not email, I want to receive username and not require that to be an email address.
What up, Fritz?
Thank you, Smokeless, for that subscription. I think we're getting a little bit better at things here. I'll of course make a donation to Girl Develop It for that subscription, and you'll get to use the .NET bot everywhere on Twitch here. Thanks so much. All right, so I'm receiving username. I need to fix this in my login, right? Yep, login's kind of broken now because it's not email, it's username. Which, behind the scenes here, when I do attempt the login, instead of, right, passing in password sign in, right, this should be a username instead of your email address that you're logging in with. Your collection is almost complete. Nope. Don't have a. I'm looking for a sound effect that I could play real quick. No, I don't. Gosh. There you go. How's that? Ric Flair's always good for a woo in the morning. So, yeah, Tiago's got the caricature. All right, so so it should now sign in with the username. Good. And I also then need to make, so I have it on the register page. I want to make the display name appear. I need to make the display name appear on your profile page and on the article page instead of the username. Got that? Let's make sure that what we have, oh shoot. We've been having problems with that runner from inside Visual Studio here all day. And you know what? yeah, I'm running a little bit long here than I normally do. Let's make sure I have these couple fields saving from registration, and then I think I'll end the stream today. I don't think I should allow editing of a username. Bang, look at that. That feels terrible. Terrible, no good. CD CoreWiki. What are my things that changed here? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Let's rerun the application. Wait, what? I join you and you end the stream? No, I'm not ending it just yet. Let's wrap up, make sure this works. Want to pop in and say hi? Well, thanks for stopping by, Smokeless. I appreciate that. So now when I refresh this, okay, my username, my username is, because it's still set up in that funny way, this, and my password was that. Right, that was my username, wasn't it? Right? Turn this back into a grid. I wish it would default to that. Select star from my users table. Let's see what we have. Oh, I rebuilt the database. I rebuilt the database, so I need to go through first start again and recreate my first user. That's annoying. I've got a lot of those open. Whatever. So let's log back in. So my username, I'll make C# Fritz. Display name, the High and Mighty. There we go. My email address is this. Okay. Now, this should create all those things for me. All right, yep, that's updated. Username, email, normalized email, good. Display name should be down here. That worked. Okay, so now let me log in. So username, I should be able to log in with that. And my password. And now it's using username, fantastic. Okay, so now then the last piece there was when I create a new article. Let's call this just another article. This is another article. And I create that. So author, it has properly my username there, but it's my username. I might want to have my display name appear there. And when I look at this article, and also as a side note, it doesn't say, well, who wrote this? Who's the author? So the question, right, when we display the author's name, is should it show the username here, or should it show their display name? And I think I'll save that for another time. But I think we made some pretty good progress, even though we're here. You think we should show the display name? Okay. Some changes for sure. We definitely got some things in place here that I think are moving in the right direction. Added user display name, and now logging in with username. I think that's a much better feature. All right. So let's wrap up. That's a little loud. Just a little loud, Mario. Let's back you down. Come here. Come here. You will adjust. Thank you. All right. So we had some problems with how we were creating users, and it was that we weren't properly reporting our validation errors from first start. So it looked like we were creating a user, and in fact we weren't. We fixed that, so now we are properly creating users. We're still faced with this nebulous question of what happens when we delete a user. And we've got this GDPR issue out there around, well, if you deleted a user and we have that user's name attached to an article, how do we reconcile that? Do we just change it to somebody who's no longer on the system? Or do we declare this is a piece of user information because you contributed, because you edited an article, it's required for the maintenance and the running of the application. And we're going to have to cross that with GDPR at some point, that privacy legislation. You know, can we say we need this in order to operate the application? Unknown. We'll have to figure that out. We learned that because we separated our entity framework, our database interactions, into a separate project, I need to actually generate my database interactions by my database migrations by passing in that dash project argument. And good catch by Atif and our friends there in the chat room that I need to start structuring my interactions this way so that I can properly create and work with those objects in the database. And we can now log in with username. I like that a lot better. I think that's a much better solution. One way to test it is ignoring the issue and test it in court. Oh, fuel stable. Oh, that's a terrible thing to do. Terrible. All right. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me. I think we got a lot done here today, and I'm here in Las Vegas. I'm going to be flying back later today. I might make it back in time for the stream tomorrow. Don't count on it. So I'm not scheduling the stream for tomorrow. I might run it Sunday morning. I think that'd be really good if we did it Sunday morning instead. Let me look into that. Keep an eye on the schedule here, and I'll let you know. I'll post a Twitter message and update if that's in fact what we're doing. So, thanks so much everybody for joining me. I'll archive off this video and it'll be available on YouTube a little bit later today. Thanks so much for joining me. This was really good. It went better than I expected, streaming from a hotel room in Las Vegas. Thanks so much for joining me, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care.